So it's December again, so it's time to get Christmassy. Hello and welcome to today's video, where today we'll be going over the evolution of Christmas events in all of Rockstar's games. Starting off of course with Bully. Now Bully was one of the first Rockstar games to actually have a Christmas event, but unlike some other games, for example Simpsons Hit and Run, where you'll get a festive start screen on Christmas Day, Christmas actually plays a small part in Bully during the first portion of Chapter 3, regardless of whatever time of year it is. Shortly after Jimmy Hopkins beats up Darby Harrington, Bullwhip becomes coated over in snow all around, and the third chapter begins on Christmas Eve. Now while the story itself focuses more on Jimmy and Pete discussing Gary, you'll notice that the Boys Dorm has now been given a nice facelift, as there's Christmas decorations all over the place. And that's not the only change either, as characters all around the map are now wearing winter attire, thicker coats, gloves and beanies to name them, and Jimmy can now partake in snowball fights and destroy snowmen that have been built. And scattered around the map for the first 2 in-game days, you'll see Christmas decorations on display around the map, mostly around the school and the inside, alongside 2 massive Christmas trees, one in Bullwhip Town just outside the town hall, and the other one is outside the cinema in Old Bullwhip Vale. Now upon going to sleep for the first time, Jimmy will awaken to an announcement from Miss Danvers, saying that his mom has dropped him off a Christmas gift, and that anything the player was planning on doing on that day will be stopped until Jimmy picks up his gift, a green sweater with a reindeer on it. Now on Scholarship Edition and Anniversary Edition exclusively, there's an entire side story involving the drunken hobo who believes he's Santa, and everything here is about as Christmassy as you can get. You'll be fighting midgets dressed as elves, you'll be destroying Santa's grotto, and the soundtrack of course is replaced with a more Christmassy variant, which is actually an edit of Sean Lee's own music, Jingle Bells, from his Ping Pong Orchestra album. Now Jimmy himself also gets some Christmassy clothes, such as reindeer antlers, a costume of a toy soldier and his very own elf costume. Now another Christmas mission happens in this storyline where Jimmy, against his own will, partakes in a Christmas pageant where he plays quite a few Christmas classic tracks, Oh Christmas Tree, Deck the Halls and Jingle Bells. Now I did a video on this last year, but that wasn't all Bully had planned for the holidays, as I even had plans to go further with the Christmas event, such as having the trees and the in-game stores playing Christmas tracks, and an entire side mission where Jimmy goes to find Christmas gifts that Preppy's left scattered all across town too. Now Christmas in Bully ends by the time the player sleeps for the second time, as the next time the player wakes up, all the Christmas decorations are gone and nobody ever mentions Christmas again. But one really nice detail I want to point out is, on Christmas Eve, the chapter's beginning, the skies are dull and grey all over and the winter atmosphere is done fantastically, but towards the end of the chapter, specifically towards the Johnny Vincent boss fight, the skies become much more vibrant and colourful, progressing into spring where chapter 4 begins. The entire prologue to Grand Theft Auto 5 takes place during the festive season of 2004, but of course this isn't the main focus, as the entire mission focuses on setting up the events of the story. But if the player decides to check the place out, or even the house they end up at the end of the mission, there's quite a lot of Christmas decorations being put up around the map that the player has access to. For example, in the main Bobcat building where the prologue takes place, we can see a Christmas tree with a load of presents underneath it, alongside various Christmas cards on the wall, which can be destroyed by Michael. The door arches seem to be covered in tinsel too, and the house where Michael, Trevor and Brad end up at has a visible Christmas tree in the window and some fairy lights. Of course, after the prologue we're taken straight to the funeral of Michael Townley, but it's unknown if Michael Townley's funeral took place after Christmas or not. And because North Yankton was never meant to be explorable in free mode, all the Christmas stuff will remain here if the player returns to North Yankton through mods, even in Bury the Hatchet, because if the player decides to try and revisit the Bobcat building or go back to the farmhouse, they'll just fail the mission if they try to get there. Now ever since the launch of Grand Theft Auto Online in 2013, Rockstar Games have always had Christmassy events in the middle of December until the new year, where the entirety of Los Santos and Blaine County gets covered in a thick white blanket of snow for a short while, complemented with appropriate weather changes. Gone are the rainstorms and sunny days, instead they're replaced with fog, snowstorms and light snowfall. And the cars also seem to be affected by this as they become much more slippier to control. Now during this time, Rockstar usually makes some Christmas exclusive clothing available for free for all players. Just a few masks, clothes and outfits, alongside bringing back the firework launcher for purchase from the July 4th Independence Day for a while. Also during this time, if you press left on the D-pad, or G if you're on PC when unarmed, you can pick up snowballs and engage in snowball fights, a feature brought back from Bully. Now in some apartments your character will now have a Christmas tree set up plus some presents they'll never get to open. Logging in on some days gives the player a special pack from Rockstar, usually some weapons, limited edition clothes that they can keep after the event is over, or sometimes they'll give you a free car purchase or limited edition Christmas liveries for specific cars. Now despite it being snowy all over, the citizens of Los Santos don't seem to care, so you'll still see people walking around in the snow in nothing but their swimsuits.
Time was.
Now, it wasn't until 2014 where Rockstar started calling these updates Festive Surprise, but the events usually last until very early January of the new year, usually around the 5th or so, which is when Festive Surprise comes to an end. The snow is gone forever, and so are all your Christmassy clothes. If you're wearing anything that was strictly limited to Festive Surprise, your character will be forced into the default outfit for whatever gender you're playing as. Now sadly, Christmas has no roles whatsoever in single player Red Dead Redemption 2, but it does make an appearance in Red Dead Online, but it's slightly different compared to how it was handled for Grand Theft Auto Online. During the disastrous launch of Red Dead's online beta in 2018, all they did was just have saloons play Christmas carols, some very traditionally Christian too, such as We Three Kings, O Little Town of Bethlehem and Silent Night. And Rockstar also gave players 20 gold bars if they played before December 20th, with the rewards going out just before Christmas Eve. But this was improved upon in 2019, where much like GTA Online, the map started getting snow all across the map. But rather than coat the map over like GTA 5 does, the snow was handled much more realistically. Like you'd have places like Valentine which had snow mixed with mud, or the more grassy areas would still have grass sticking up out the snow, etc. Now for player camps, Rockstar added trees to everyone's camp and decorations in their moonshine shacks, and awarded one free variant of the double barrel shotgun, which was the Krampus, which gave nice decals of Krampus all around. There were temporary festive themed playlists, basically the already existing game modes but for a more Christmassy vibe. Now of course, some players have said that the Christmas events in Red Dead Online were pretty lackluster, but that's about it for the evolution of Christmas in Rockstar's games. I hope you enjoyed, have a great December and Happy New Year.